The Florida Maquis doesn't normally waste time doing takedown videos of other channels on YouTube, but when information is put out that could get our servicemen killed, it's time to do that. And it's appropriate to do that. This individual runs a channel named Angry Cops, and he tries to pass himself off as a drill sergeant, engineer, when really he is a civil affairs, psychological operations recruiter. That's his job. Now, his shtick is going out and finding guys who have screwed up uniforms or people who have stolen valor and attacking them. And that's fine. But in the vast majority of the videos that he does it, he himself is out of uniform. And in one particular instance, he makes an enormous mistake and has to delete the video off his channel. But fortunately, somebody else picked it up and left it on theirs, and we're going to cover that. Now, when I referenced getting people killed, earlier today, he put up a video talking about how we just shouldn't take the Venezuelan military seriously at all. There is, according to him, another video put out by the Venezuelans showing training that's meant to intimidate and or scare our Marines. Now, he doesn't give us a link to that video so that we can watch it for ourselves. He cherry picks clips out of it and then just rambles on like a smartass over the top of it, not having any idea what he's looking at, and making himself basically look like the biggest douchebag on the planet. There's so much to take this guy down with, I have to do the video in two parts. Part number one is we are going to address him specifically and his inability to know whether he's a Marine or whether he's a soldier. In fact, you don't hear him ever really use the word soldier, and anybody who's been in the Army knows that a drill sergeant would be having that word fall out of his mouth every other sentence, because being a soldier and soldiering is what distinguishes the United States Army from every other service. Now, where shall we begin? Right here. Now, this video is from a channel called Rush XL, and that's down there. I will link this and you can watch it for yourself. You can't find this video of Angry Cops on his own page because he realized the enormous mistake he makes here. And I will let him speak for himself. We'll start from the beginning, and you can tell me whether this guy was really who he says he is.
Did you miss it? Let me show you that again. Look closely. Do you see it now? Awesome. What the hell is this? What is this? Is that a proper salute? I don't think so. At first I thought that was an Army guy. Oh no, it's my brothers. My crayon glue slurping brothers, the Marines.
Let's stop there. So this guy alleges he's a drill sergeant in the United States Army. And while he is correct that this salute isn't where it's supposed to be, he says, at first I thought that was an Army guy. First of all, Army guys don't call each other Army guys, we call each other soldiers. So a drill sergeant would have said, at first I thought that was a soldier. Now, one glance from even any member of the military, much less a United States Army drill sergeant, would tell you that that is not someone in the Army. White servicemen's caps never were authorized for any Army uniform ever. And a drill sergeant would know that. There would be no point looking at that where any real drill sergeant would say, oh gosh, is that Army or Marines? I'm not sure. I can't tell. At first I thought that was an Army guy. No way. Absolutely no way. And I'm not really completely up on how Marines talk about each other, but they refer to each other as brothers. And if he's saying, I thought that was an Army guy, but no, it's one of my glue-eating, crayon-eating, glue-slurping brothers, the Marines, it would make you think He himself was a Marine, yet in most of his videos, he appears in an Army uniform as an Army drill sergeant. Let me tell you something Army drill sergeants don't do. Army drill sergeants don't do this to their round brown. They don't alter their round brown in any way. They work very hard to get them, and they treat them with respect. If he's doing this in YouTube videos for views, I know a lot of drill sergeants that would like to see him lose that hat immediately. Now, the odd thing about this particular guy is that he doesn't seem to know what rank he is. Because there's times when he displays himself as an E6, he goes back to an E5, and then back to an E6, then back to an E5. And it's not a chronological thing where he could have been promoted. He also displays different patches at different times on different uniforms for different things. Now here, in this video, titled "The Air Force is the Strongest Branch," he shows up not having shaved, wearing an E5's uniform, with pin-on ranks. I don't care, and he's making the allegation that because of the shutdown he's not shaving. No drill sergeant would ever put on any uniform looking like this. This guy is not who he says he is. And here, ironically, he's taking down somebody for having a terrible uniform or stolen valor while wearing a white t-shirt underneath a BDU top with a mustache that is really close to being out of regs. And I'll give you all of these links so you can go look at this for yourself. Here, he's wearing his recruiter shit, slouching in a chair with his round brown on, with an unsecured weapon on a table next to him on a buffet, yammering on about chocolate pudding. You see, it's guys like this that make people talk shit about the Army, and that's what kind of gets under my fucking skin. And all this was bad enough. But when we get to the Venezuela thing, I'll show you exactly why I have lost my shit about this guy. Here, he is pretending to be some kind of a military badass walking around a college gymnasium, attempting to treat a bunch of college kids who haven't, to my mind, signed up for the military because they're back-talking, they're not really in any kind of a formation, but he's treating them like they are or should be responding to him as if he is anything other than just a recruiter, which is what he is. Civil affairs, psychological operations, recruiter, pretending to be Billy Badass, drill sergeant. It gets better. Here, we can confirm that by looking at the patch on his right shoulder, that he is, in fact, civil affairs. And I'll show you that patch later. He, at first I thought that might have been 25th ID, but clearly he is not anyone who's been associated with light infantry ever. Here, we see him appearing, Angry Drill Sergeant versus Bad Beret, with absolutely no rank on his collar whatsoever, but wearing a round brown. There's no drill sergeant, no real drill sergeant, that would ever do this, that had any value for that round brown. All right, real quick. And here he's back to being an E5 with no patches again, after having been an E6 through a whole bunch of other videos. So, the patch you saw on his arm is this: U.S. Army, Civil Affairs, and Psychological Operations Command. That is who this guy is. Oh, and by the way, he's also a Buffalo police officer that clearly doesn't know the standards under which he is employed, because he put out other videos that were completely ridiculous. He absolutely has no idea about the term esprit de corps or how to represent yourself as a serviceman of any kind. Here's a close-up of that patch. Now, he's not airborne. This was just for the patch. He's Air Salt. He also has a patch on over his left breast that is clearly from the 101st. He has all sorts of different patches. If you go through his videos, you'll see he's all over the place. And ironically, his channel video is him taking down a general for not knowing his rifle, when this guy has absolutely no clue about jungle operations or what's in store for our servicemen in Venezuela if they're ever there. So here we go.
Back, and I'm here to drop some knowledge on you. A video of Venezuelan military members training in order to scare the United States Marines away.
Okay, remember that. Venezuelan military members training. This isn't a video of their forces in action, their fully trained and operational forces in action. This is a training video.
Has been circulating itself all throughout the internet as of recently. Some news articles state that the video has been authenticated and approved by Venezuelan military and political members. And if you're asking yourself, why is this happening? Let me break it down for you. The Venezuelan government has been in the news a lot as of recently. Many U.S. politicians have come out, either in support of or in opposition to the Venezuelan socialist style of government. Venezuela is also in a power struggle between two political entities trying to claim power over the Venezuelan government. Nicolas Maduro, the current dictator that won re-election.
Dictator that won re-election literally argues with itself.
Some would say unfairly. And Guaido, the interim president that President Trump and other European nations have shown support for.
That's never been elected to anything.
Now, once President Trump showed support for Guaido, Maduro was very upset and reaffirmed those in Venezuela that he would not be giving up power. And in response, President Trump suggested the possible use of the U.S. military, which now leads us to this gem of a video.
Remember, training video.
Let's break it down, shall we? The video starts off with...
Okay, video starts off right here. We have a guy staring at a field.
Some commander giving a command to have 3 soldiers pop out of the grass, like the
Not bad for just grass.
cheesy Viet Cong characters you see in B-rated Vietnam movies.
Right, because we know the Viet Cong never killed anyone. Oh yeah, that's right. We lost that war.
The second part of this critically acclaimed piece of psychological warfare is nearly 45 seconds straight of these 3 dudes just running in place, screaming.
Right, because that's what our videos do.
Until one by one they skip off. Whoopee.
But agreed. This is a training video. You see, what he wants you to believe is that what you're looking at is the top level, the fully trained and deployable forces. This is a training video, and he even says it.
I will hand it to them. The easiest way to scare a whole bunch of U.S. military members is to show them photos and videos of painted rocks. Every single one of us has been part of a horrible detail, painting and rearranging rocks around battalion headquarters. The first obstacle
I'm sure that this guy probably has spent most of his career doing that.
we come to is barbed wire, and it is just pathetic. They scream with motivation, but they move at a snail's pace. The first guy's form is so shitty that he rips off his hat and rubs his noodle against the barbed wire.
Right, it's training.
It's a low crawl. Drag your face along the ground, baby girl. Even the way they hold their rifles during this entire obstacle course reeks of ineptitude.
Right, once again, training.
Now it becomes clear that the course they're stumbling and bumbling through is a bayonet course. Newsflash, Venezuelan military members, you are never gonna get that close.
Oh, yes, they are. Because it's a jungle. Someplace you've never been. You can have somebody 3 feet from you and have no idea they are there, especially at night. This guy is going to get people killed.
But I can appreciate the history and tradition of training in the bayonet. I mean, come on. What's the spirit of the bayonet? To kill cold blue steel. Woo! Motivated. Now, I know we're having a good laugh at this, but here's where the video goes tits up. After running the course with no magazine and having an unloaded weapon, these soldiers...
Just like our soldiers and Marines do.
Stop. Plant their feet and pretend to fire their weapons. Still no magazine in it. They just stand there pretending to spray automatic fire. Where are they shooting? What are they aiming at?
That is how training is done. We use Miles equipment in the U.S. military, but during basic combat training, the vast majority of the time, you don't have a magazine in, and you don't fire live rounds, especially when someone has a camera literally right in front of them. Once again, trying to make you believe that you are looking at some type of a live fire course that's being run by fully trained Venezuelan army or whatever soldiers. It's insane what this guy is trying to do, but he's failing at it miserably.
The answer? Nothing! One dude's trying to fake it all right, having it up in his shoulder. The other guy's just spraying it from his hip like Rambo. The balls you gotta have to try and scare any foreign military by pumping in fake automatic small arms fire as your dudes stand there miming the recoil of a rifle that, by the way, has no magazine in it. This video is on par with those lame ISIS training videos.
Right, because ISIS hasn't killed or captured or caused any problems, have they? Clearly an ineffectual military force.
Those dopes going through monkey bars and doing somersaults and cartwheels in the dirt. Now, after being scared out of my mind from that fake automatic fire, they show up and decide to give us a motivational speech with the worst camouflage face paint I've ever seen.
And this is where he finally gives it up. He has absolutely no idea about what jungle warfare is like and why they would wear black face paint. You always wear solid black, regardless of the fashion shows that you see hillbillies that are out hunting do. It keeps the bugs off, and it keeps your skin from burning, and there are all sorts of other great reasons. Causes shadow. We continually go down to the Special Forces games, and we lose. We've lost to Colombia, we've lost to Peru, we've lost to all sorts of other South American militaries because they know what they're doing down there. This guy is a civil affairs recruiter, psychological operator, commenting as if he knows dick about jungle warfare.
It looks like blackface. It didn't work out for Governor Northam in Virginia. I don't think it's going to work out for you there, Venezuela. Now, with any motivational video, it's going to have one hell of a send-off, and this one does not disappoint. It ends with about a dozen guys, about a mortar team, and a heavy weapon squad just jogging around, carrying the heavy equipment, ready to wage war. But what's this? The guy in front? What's he carrying? Just some binos.
Okay, the guy in front is clearly the commander of whatever that unit is, and he looks like he's in his 50s or 60s. And if you've ever had binos around your neck, I'm not sure if that's the term I would use. What you gonna do? You just gonna let them bounce all over the place while you're running? See, he's grasping at straws and cherry picking a video to make you believe that there is absolutely no threat from the Venezuelan military, and trying to probably convince himself that he's some kind of a respectable soldier, but
just running around with the team, heavy lifting all that crap, carrying a set of binos like he's in charge. You know that guy's the doofus of the group. Hey man, I want to carry the automatic rifle. No way, Jose. You get to carry the binos. That or this guy's just a blue falcon and looked around and said, oh hey, binos, I got this one, guys. You carry all that other stuff. I think the Venezuelan military needs a little education on how to be intimidating.
I think you need a little bit of education as to what soldiering is really about. That was the absolute most ridiculous, irresponsible thing I think I've ever seen put on YouTube. We have someone who is alleging he is a part of our military in some way, shape, or form, being an absolute dickbag regarding a very serious situation. They have 1.6 million militia under arms. We have sent $500 million to Colombia every single year for the last 2 or 3 decades. Why? To fight the war on drugs against these paramilitaries. Haven't won, have we? There's a reason why. It is not like anything you have ever seen in your life, these jungles. And these people have lived in them and trained in them, and now we have Psychological Operations Command of the United States Army putting out videos, making it like, no big deal. I hope this guy wakes up and realizes and figures out what service he's in, what rank he's in, and what being a drill sergeant really means. Because as a former United States Army soldier myself, this is nauseating. And it pisses me off. When those caskets come rolling off that jet at Dover, I'm going to come back here. And let's see if you can laugh and yuck it up then. Like, share, subscribe.